We're not going to get that altcoin season until we see Fed end QT and begin QE, which basically means the printing cash.
See, right now is a great time to get in. I feel like we're in the point where things
Is it though?
before things go well. Yeah.
The content presented in this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It should not be considered as financial advice, and listeners are encouraged to conduct their own research or consult with a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Crypto flip.
I took out a 30k loan to invest in meme coins. I full ported that.
Sorry, that was a strong start.
That's a hell of a start. I full potted that in the bottom of a coin. I was up 120k at one point. I told myself I would sell before my birthday. My birthday passed and I began to rotate profits into different coins. I have nothing now. I lost everything, including the 30k. I am in debt and can't hold a coin longer than a day. I've lost my ways. Should I leave the game or regain my initial mindset?
Bro, you gotta go back into the hyperbolic time chamber, man. It sounds like things are going well, but then you got rugged by the market. So I'm gonna say jump out of this. Crypto is not for you for the rest, maybe for the rest of the year. Try to not get involved in all the FUD. Go back to the hyperbolic time chamber, learn some more stuff, and come back in the market. But don't leave it forever. But yeah, you're burnt, and you're gonna be chasing that bag for the rest of the year if you stay in the market.
Man said, should I leave the game or regain my initial mindset? Bruv, leave the game, fam. You're not regaining no initial. Your initial mindset was to borrow a loan, some crazy APR, and invest it in riskier assets. And yes, you were up for X, bro. What did you do with the gains? Give it right back. My guy said I rotated it. The initial plan was to take profit, sell before his birthday. His birthday came, he sold and took that money and put it into other coins. Bro, you just can't make this up, bro. You think because the money's bro is not yours, you want to at least have that 30k to the side. Like, you know what? If worst come to worst, if I blow my entire account, at least I can still pay the bank or my creditors back. And the rest is just for the house. Bro, the guy's like, nah, fuck it. The generous mindset, all in. Bro, you can't make this shit up, man. I'm telling you, you cannot make this stuff up. You can't. If you tried, you couldn't. But you can't make this stuff up. You just can't.
Flip side, though. Obviously, we need man like this in the market because exit liquidity, innit? Just saying.
Oh my God.
Yes, it's a mad one still. I was waiting for it. No, it's crazy, man. What I think you should do is I think you should start a hedge fund and call it Meme Coin Capital. Start borrowing money, start raising money, and go into the open market, and then boom, start investing in meme coins. Now, obviously, I'm trolling.
I fully believe the problem. I'm like, what kind of advice is this? Please clarify when you're trolling, bro.
Taking a loan out for meme coin. I was going to say investing. You can't even call it investing. Trading is wild. It's actually wild. A loan, money you have to pay back to invest. Not in altcoins, which can be risky, but you can talk about fundamentals. Not in Bitcoin, which is solid, but in meme coins,
I know, right?
That's
the worst. Literally, the bottom of the barrel in terms of the risk asset. You have Bitcoin up here, then you have altcoins here, and you have meme coin beneath the earth, like the earth thin crust. Yeah, that's where meme coins are, fam. And that's where he put his money. He's like, here's my 30k, and then he thought it was gonna get better. My God.
No, it's different. It's different. But in terms of should you lead the game or regain your initial mindset, my bro, I don't think you had an initial mindset. I think you got lucky in a few pumps and then you gave it all back. So I think you should just lead the game until you can come back with an edge and your own money. Until that happens, just forget about it. And you know what? In fact, forget about that. You need to figure out how you're going to pay back this loan. Because it's probably a mad APR, and boy, that thing is going to be stacking.
On the flip, I mean, obviously, if it's a regular loan, he's paying that back every month, right? So at the end of the day,
but 30k, what are the payments though? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
Probably a bag a month or something, maybe more.
More
better him than me, man.
my man took out a mortgage to invest in meme coins. That's what I have to say. Bro, this is an example, yeah. To all our listeners out there, this is the example of what you should never, ever, ever do. Like, even if you're 1000% certain it's going to the upside, you're better off using your own money. If you lose it, at least it's your own money, man. Borrowing and losing it, my God.
It's a different level of stress, man. Taking out a loan is stress. Taking out a loan that you used on meme coins is a different level of stress I never want to experience in my life.
Listen.
Mad thing. But yeah, let's go on to the next one. 50K in the hole from trenching on Soul meme coins in the last 9 months.
My guy said trenching. That's a new word I had never.
I lie.
I've heard trenches. My guy said I'm trenching.
Man said,
Bro,
verb, bro. That's
listen. These guys are top degenerates, fam. Just that opening line right there, fam. I'm telling you, sir.
Matt, in that last 9 months, he could have had a youth boy, and this guy's anyway.
Literally.
Nearly a year's salary for me, and 40% off my net worth. That money would have been better spent or invested literally in anything else. The amount of time I spent monitoring meme coin charts and looking into new launches would have been 1000% more productive researching, investing in stocks with actual fundamentals. I stopped gambling on meme coins about a month ago, and I felt much more relaxed. It took about a week of not opening Photon to kick the habit.
Wow.
Hey, listen, it's not for everyone, bruv. It's not for everyone. Buying meme coins, being in crypto, it's just not for everyone. If you feel like the energy that you put into it wasn't worth the output that you got, fair enough. But if you feel like you've just thrown all those hours away looking at charts, then you're looking at this completely wrong, because there's definitely some skills you learned throughout that process that can help you in regular investing. And obviously, you look at meme coins, the volatility is so wild. You're basically absorbing years worth of stock data in the space of like 3 or 4 days worth of meme coin charts. So yeah, man, you can take your experience elsewhere, but you just have to extend your time frames dramatically. And also, you should have been keeping a record of like what's happening, like why you think it pumped for this at this point, why you think it went down, your good trades, your bad trades, all of that. Like if you keep a log, it definitely helps. So if you did all of that, or you did actually the bare minimum of I'm in the market, is it going up? Why is it going up? Why is it going down? Then they definitely have something to take to another asset class. Yeah, crypto's not for everyone, and meme coins are definitely not for everyone.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Listen, shout out to this guy. At least he knew. Like, some people, like, they don't know when to stop. Like when something's an addiction, they don't know when to stop. And trust me, this guy, he knew he was gambling. And then the worst thing you can be is not knowing who you are. Like, imagine being a degenerate, but you're like, oh, I'm not a degenerate. I'm a normal person. Bro, you're a degenerate, bro. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is check your Photon, monitor stuff from not doing your work. Bro, probably not even, like, I don't know if I don't think he's a dad or anything like that. So I think, because if he was a dad, I don't think he would be able to do all this kind of damage. And if he's still able to do that, while still being a dad, then kudos to him. But I'll stay up another day. But one thing I took from this, firstly, like I said, it's good that he's able to kind of kick the habit, because what you don't want to do is keep kind of going back into your funds and trying to catch some gain that you're probably never going to get, because meme coins is not for everyone, like Ricky just eloquently stated. My thing here is, you can tell this guy he's more of a traditionalist trader or investor. I wouldn't call him a trader, he's more of an investor, because quickly he blamed it on the asset class, being, it's crypto. If I just use this energy and monitor it into looking into some S&P 500, blah, blah, blah. Bro, what? So you can get 11% in a year? Cool. Good for you. Like, you know what I mean? There are other ways to make money a lot faster than just, going all the way to the risk curve, all the way to the bottom of the risk curve, like investing in meme coin, or all the way to the top of the safer asset, like investing in index fund. So it's like, guess the middle point you can reach. And him saying, I'm done, I'm like, I will be more productive, just investing in stocks or whatever. Yeah, that is logically if you have a lot of money. But if you don't have a lot of money, there's a reason why you someone puts you on meme coin because you're basically saying, yo, bro, I need to be up. And your brother say, yo, listen, I got this thing, bro. It's fresh. It's called meme coins. And then obviously
It could have sounded like you're flipping bricks or something.
it is. Man's zombie, bro. And then you try your luck, didn't work out. I think sometimes you can tell the guys that have conviction in this space tend to always do well. They don't panic. So even if there are some guys that are meme coins that are down heavy, but for some reason they believe in the long term. And I feel like if you don't give up, you always eventually make it. I mean, you might be wrecked in the short term, but eventually you'll make it. You kind of flip flop in between. You know what? I don't think crypto's for me. Let me go out to stocks. By all means, go back to stocks, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need you in this space. But at the same time, you can't blame it all on meme coins because meme coin is just the vehicles to invest. You know what I mean? There's other things you can invest in. You can invest in regular altcoins, you can invest in Bitcoin. You can even invest in stocks that mirror a Bitcoin, like Tesla, MicroStrategy. That's got perpetual features coming out as well. You can take even more risk over there if you want to. And there's other ways you can make money. It doesn't have to be traditional stock. Or you can just diversify. You know what I mean? 40% stocks, 60% crypto. So this guy sound like a little bit of a rookie that tried something, failed, and he's out. He's done. And to be honest, it's good because how he started was meme coins. Like if you're a new investor in this space, I wouldn't recommend you start with meme coins. I just wouldn't, because one little win will get you gas that you probably just blow your entire account. You know what I mean? You probably want to take your time, research, get some edge. You know what I mean? Invest in a safer vehicle first. Then, if you want to feel like you're feeling braver, then branch out into speculative meme coins. That's kind of my advice. His way is like he had to come out of the market because he started with meme coins, and we all know what's happened to meme coin in the past couple months. Meme coins is damn bad. Just ask me. Ask him, bro.
Just asking it. Live by the meme coin, die by the meme coin. Sometimes, people have to really feel it to really know what it's like to be in those trenches. 50K in a hole, you went heavy. And for someone who hasn't really, got that experience or got that
Crazy
conviction,
bro,
you put 50 stacks in, which is 40% of your net worth. That's not a lot. I mean, that is a lot, sorry. It's kind of reckless, no? Like over the last 9 months, need a year's worth of salary. Boy, I think at this point, at least you have the self-awareness to say, yo, this might not be for me. So let me pack it in. Let me go to something a bit safer. Let me, buy some Nvidia or some Tesla or some MicroStrategy or wherever it is that you want. Or even just on the S&P. Okay, cool. Do your little thing over there. And leave the trenches to the soldiers in Solana. But I don't think meme coins are for you. And if it's giving you peace of mind and you feel more relaxed, then I think it's better that you stay away. Because this thing can give people anxiety and have people going crazy. So it's better for you that you stay away, man. And I'm glad you found peace.
yeah, because it wasn't for him, bro. Like the man has poor risk management skills, man. Like 50 racks from meme coin.
That's crazy. Which is
you think he's a millionaire, fam? Bro, and exactly. Bro, if you were so sure what you're doing, why don't you just go 40% of stocks then?
Because he wanted the quick gains, bro. Come on, man.
He wanted the Muller, fam. That Morad level game, bro.
And what happened?
You got Morad level wiped out. Morad lost like 40 million on his portfolio, bro. Still got 10 in there though. Probably 15 now, but anyway.
Didn't your man say he sold already? He already exited. He sold his wallet to some next stuns.
Nah, that wasn't confirmed. That was
allegedly.
So that it was like it was allegedly, yeah.
But we'll ask him on if and when we get him on the bus. Yeah.
Definitely.
And on that note, welcome back to the Crypto Flip podcast. I'm your host, Harris King, and I am joined once again with my esteemed co-hosts, Ricardo and Deji. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We are live on all of your major podcasting platforms, including Spotify podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you like to listen to your podcasts. We are there. So this week. Well, today in particular, Solana has ETFs approved. the market has been a little bit green, which is, very positive. And nothing crazy, but, after the sideways chop and the down movements, a little bit of green goes a long way. What do you think this means for the price of Solana regarding the ETF? Do you think it's going to have a major effect? Because when we look at the Ethereum ETF, it hasn't really moved the needle that much. But when you look at the Bitcoin ETF, obviously there's been a lot more inflows, and Bitcoin's maintained a steady price. So how do you think it's going to work out for Solana?
So I slept on this news. I reckon with the new Solana ETFs, we are not going to see any real movement in the market. And the reason being is it's not a spot ETF. So this new company out of Florida, I can't remember the name of it, Volatility LLC, I think. Basically are launching this ETF, and there's two of them. There's one that tracks Solana's value 2x, so basically it's like a leveraged Solana thing, and another one that tracks the Solana futures market. Because they're not a spot ETF, you don't get to actually own the underlying asset. It's not like you're buying Bitcoin. Like with the Bitcoin spot ETF and the Ethereum spot ETF, essentially you're buying a little bit of Bitcoin or Ethereum whenever the big companies invest. This isn't like that. This is basically saying it's like a, what is it, a CFC, CFT? Anyway, it's basically like a contract for trade. It's basically you're going to invest, and if the price goes up, you gain more. If you don't, the price goes down, you lose a little bit, but you don't get to actually have the underlying asset. So do I think this is going to move the market? Initially I did, but then as I was jumping into it, I can't see this moving the market. This is basically just a way for people to get on and saying, I'm tracking Solana. Just like how Deji just said, you can go and you can buy MicroStrategy and Tesla, and it tracks very closely to crypto. This is basically a similar thing. So I don't think it.
But why do you think they designed it this way and just didn't do a straight Solana spot ETF?
Hey, listen, there's Solana spot ETFs that are waiting to be approved by the SEC. It just so happens that this one was one of the first ones that got approved. And I don't know, man, it feels kind of dodgy because this is like a relatively new player. Like there's been so many applications for Solana spot ETFs, Ripple spot ETF. None of them got approved. This one got approved. I don't know. It feels like there's some backdoor. Donald Trump's little cousin is the one that has this LLC, and they're the one that is making the investment. And yeah, it just feels a bit mad. So I don't know why we don't have a spot ETF yet. That's probably the next thing. But I think it was easier for them to say we're going to approve this one because it's not a spot ETF. It tracks the value up and down. And Solana at the time was worth like 67 billion when they approved it. So let's see, but I don't think this is gonna pump the market. Initially, I thought we're gonna have Meme Mania Part 3, but we're not.
This is a quick one for me. I saw this news on X, and I kept scrolling because it didn't mean nothing. Because like, I'll be real with you, fam. If you don't have spot, if it's not a spot ETF for Solana XRP, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. And yeah, I know the market had a green day yesterday. That's more because of how the market reacted positively to the FOMC.
Yeah, we'll come on to
that.
that.
XRP.
You know what I mean? And XRP as well, exactly. So it's a situation where like I saw it, I just kept moving because, like I said, the player that put in this application, they're not a big player in this market. You know what I mean? They're just being there. I think the company is based in Canada, the called Volatility, and they have a ton of Solana, and they're just looking for which kind of bring exposure to traditional investors in the market so that they can track it, whether perpetually using 2x or just tracking it regularly via the other ETF they have. But because it's not spot, I didn't think it would do nothing. And not only because of that as well, like there were some good things from yesterday's FOMC and there's some bad things that come out of it. So it was like a mixed bag. The gains that we had yesterday, we started to give it back. Bitcoin is holding strong, but Solana's already down 3% today. The Ethereum's lost the 2K support again, back down on 2K, but that might just be a temporary retesting of the low liquidity levels. But we'll see how it goes. But to me, this didn't move no market for me. Didn't move me at all. Didn't make me want to buy more Solana. And yeah, it's just you know what I mean. If it's one of those big major players like Van is it Van Eck or whoever?
Van Eck.
Yeah. If they were the one that had their spot ETF or so approved, then it would be like, okay, cool. We need to pay attention. But it's not. So yeah, this didn't move. This didn't do nothing for me at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's if it was a spot ETF, it would be a lot more interesting. Something that might say the trenches, seen a lot more inflows into Sol. But I don't think this is going to do much. To be honest, when I was even scrolling X, I didn't really see much reaction on news or anything regarding it. It's one of those things that just kind of came and went, and people aren't really talking about it. I don't think people are really going to be that interested unless a big player lists a spot ETF, and even then, I'd be curious to see what the reaction is from TradFi.
One more point I want to make is, and this is gonna sound like I'm sending for people, but bro, it's Canada, fam. Like Canada, the best move Canada could make right now is to become USA's 51st state. That's legit.
Jeez.
That will boost their GDP so much, and it will just add more mystique to the US. But Canada,
What you're saying, they should give them the maple syrup, yeah?
Listen, they don't have much going for them, fam. The moment they legalize fentanyl on the streets, that's when you know a panda was they were destined for the gutters, fam. Like big man thing, fam. Like,
Are you sure? Are you sure this is it's a Canadian company? Because when I looked, it was Florida.
it was in Florida. I thought it was a Canadian company. This was a TT company. I thought the Canadian, fam.
I thought the Florida.
Because there's just no real hype behind it. And if you're a US company, why are you doing a non-spot ETF application? Like, it sounds like what Canadians would do, honestly.
I said it sounds like all Canadians will do, That is joke.
Oh boy.
I told you, man. I pressed my comment saying it. Like, I'm not even trying to send, but I think it's a Canadian company. Like, do the fact check, Rick. I think it's a Canadian company.
I'm just trying to do the fact check right now. Let me hit contact us. Hey, they're purposefully quite
But you can't find the information easily. That's not good.
It's not even like, you go about us or contact us. It's like, here's our address. We're in
Yeah.
the US or Canada.
It'll be in if it's not theirs, it'll be in the privacy policy or something.
That's literally what I'm on. I'm on the privacy policy right now,
So,
brother.
jeez.
They ain't even saying when they're on this private
It
policy.
shouldn't be this hard, bro. It shouldn't be this hard.
You may have to chat GBT that later on.
For sure.
Yes, send me the name of the company. I'll do quick search on it as well. But that's ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's a Canadian company, fam, because they didn't mean shady about it. Like, they've been quiet. Like, shh, don't let them know it's a Canadian ETF.
Oh boy. But yeah, yesterday we had the FOMC, Jerome Powell. And just a summary of that is that the Federal Reserve freezes rates. They downplayed talks of a recession, and the market reacted positively. So yeah, we had equities pumping, we had Bitcoin and crypto doing a little move. MicroStrategy was up. Everything was a bit green, which was obviously good to see. So what do you think? Do you think this is just a short-term pump, or do you think this is now a trend reversal and we're going to hit 200 bags in Bitcoin?
I don't think this was the thing that's going to push us ahead, man. Yo, you know what? There's been bare positive news, bro. There's been so much positive news over the last couple of days. Why is the market not moving properly? I don't know. But yeah, like Deji said, we broke 2,000 for ETH, and then ETH just got crashing down, but now it's back below 2,000. Bitcoin is sitting around 85, which is a decent price, because it's been between 80 and 82 over the last couple of weeks. This week starts, we have 84. We have, potentially some new energy in the market. But right now, we just have no proper catalyst. There's been very good news, and it's just like no one's picking up the good news. Like, are people still sore from when they got burnt on meme coins a couple months ago? I don't know what's going on in the market, man. People feel, right now. Obviously, right now is a great time to get in. I feel like we're in the point where things
is it though?
Before things go well. Yeah.
Yeah, not really, because I just say.
No, I'm just saying. Is it
I
the
feel
time
like
if
it
we're
is.
still in the bull? But are we still in the bull? It's a real question, no?
I feel like we're still in the bull market for sure.
Last famous words, is it?
100%, we're still in the bull market.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you saying?
So I'm gonna load up some of the quotes, like, because you man know me. I take this FOMC meeting very serious, fam. So like I had no trades on yesterday because I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna get a wild card by a man like Jerome Powell because you never know what he's gonna say. First, I saw the market pump. I'm like, yo, he must be saying some good stuff, and he did say some good stuff, like really, really good stuff. And and I quote, the Fed is slowing down QT, and I've always told you guys, we're not gonna get that altcoin season until we see Fed end QT and begin QE, which basically means the printing cash, which they're gonna absorb right back into the balance sheet. So this is a quote from Jerome Powell. The committee will slow the pace of decline of its securities holdings by reducing the monthly redemption cap on treasury security from 25 billion to 5 billion. So what this means in layman translation is that they are slowing down considerably their QT process, which means like we speculated that by June, July, we should see, not even June, I think even before June, I think around May, we should see QT start to really be grounded to an alt, and then eventually we'll be forced to start QE. So that's what we took on this market. And market started reacting positive. Like I saw Bitcoin started making a move towards 86K, even 87K. Then Powell said, we felt like they've also reduced their GDP expectation for this year, which means the growth is not as robust as I think it's gonna be. And also, he said they've also raised their inflation expectations because the driving force of that is basically the tariff from President Trump. So what I took from that is, and then once that was announced, market started to range again and back down a little bit, and he hasn't kind of reclaimed that previous push that he had yesterday. What we took from that, and what traders took from that is, as long as the tariffs are still uncertain, like we don't know what the tariffs are going to become, but with the fact that Jerome Powell has come out and said it is the driving factor in the increased expectation for inflation, then that is a cause for concern, in my opinion, because we still have unemployment going up. Yeah, we have inflation not necessarily going down per se, but it's just kind of like plateauing. So what we want to do is we want to see unemployment rate go down, inflation go down, and the Fed will feel more at ease to kind of, we could start doing QE. But right now, they're slowing down QT because they know how hard it is in the market, how hard it is in the traditional job market, how people are losing their job rather than how expensive eggs are. So we kind of have to let go of the leash on QT. This made me want to be like, should I start scaling back in again? Should I start, Met myself, you know what? It's not time yet. And I think the time is coming, and we are almost at the end of March. Ooh, I'm like, yesterday was probably the first bullish thing I've seen on the chart because it had a beautiful close on the daily candle. But we'll see today, and we'll see in the month what that does. April is never a good month for crypto, as you guys know this. And maybe May will be where we'll have some strong relief bounces on the alts. But right now, what we got from Jerome Powell wasn't exactly dovish yesterday, but he was just telling his truth, what he thinks is happening. And it's like a mixed bag of news, in my opinion. And it's affected on the crypto market as well. I mean, yes, we have some positive reaction, but crypto market is still 24-hour volume is 74 billion. When we were the all-time high, we were printing daily volume was 150, 200 billion, 250, 380. You know what I mean? So my opinion is we are getting healthier and healthier, but those altcoins still haven't come home. They haven't touched their range lows against Bitcoin. And I feel like until they do, I feel like that 0.028 for ETH BTC, Ethereum is coming home. Eventually it's going to touch that range before we go back up. So I definitely agree with Rick. I think if you have been on the sideline, you want to start scaling back in. You know what I mean? Should you by all means go all in? I wouldn't advise that. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I'm doing is I'm looking for have my marked range where I want to start scaling in. And for Bitcoin, my range for that is actually 73K. And it came close. It was 77K. I might not reach it again, and I could be wrong. You never know. But I'm gonna hold strong because whenever you're like, it's never gonna come to this level, bro. I remember seeing Virtuals. Bro, Virtuals is gone. It's never coming back, bro. Virtuals is Virtuals is 40 cents, my guy. Having a recent pump to 69 cents. But you know what I mean? Whenever you think it's not gonna happen, usually it ends up happening. So I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. But at the same time, the news is all in the market. Like, you know what I mean? Like everyone has access to this news. And from yesterday's meeting, we had a pump, and then today we kind of started giving that pump back. So, and then obviously, I think today the reason why we're not dumping aggressively because Trump is going to be talking today at some digital asset summit. We'll see what he has to say.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the thing. The thing about Trump is that you never know what he's going to talk about. It might be saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to make an announcement about Bitcoin." People are thinking he's expecting him to say something about how, "Oh, I'm going to buy 1 billion BTC per month until the end of my term." Bro, that would be freaking bullish, but I don't think that's what he's going to say. And you don't know if he's going to talk about tariffs. You don't know if he's going to talk about things already he's made promises about that he's going to do. Just drawing more light to it. So you just have to be careful. Like, I just feel like the best thing to do is to DCA into spot. Leverage is crazy right now. Like, it's just crazy work. If you want to be whacked, obviously go for it. But unless you're a skilled trader and you know what you do, or unless you have an edge in the market, you should not be touching leverage. You should be going spot and DCAing across your favorite top tokens.
Rick, what type of levels and what type of things are you looking for you to sort of jump back in aggressively and start buying?
Good question.
It depends if you're asking from a trader mindset or I'm trying to.
For let's say both short term and long term. Yeah.
All right. So if I'm looking short term, I'm looking for Bitcoin to drop around 71, 72. That's highly, highly, highly unlikely.
What?
But for me to, yeah, bro, I think that's unlikely.
Well, we think
short term.
Bitcoin is for a short-term move.
I think basically, based on the event with Donald Trump and the digital asset summit, bro, if he gives good news, I reckon we could see Bitcoin flash up to like 90, 91. What I would say though is if anyone's out there watching, they should definitely be watching hyperliquid trades and see what the big whales are putting on, bro. Because there's been bear talk over the last week of basically following whale movements. And if you followed some whales over the last week, you'd have lost some serious money because these men have been betting. These men, I think someone bet on a short at BTC.
300 mil.
Yeah, 300 mil at something like 82. Bro, that Don was like 40 mil down when he closed this trade. Good on you, bruv. I guess that's a problem as well because then those trades are public. But anyway, so I'm looking for something like 71, 72. And I guess I'd have to double check liquidations to see if that's even reasonable right now. But if we get something like that, which is like a 50% drop from where we are now, I reckon that's just a good time to get back in the market because there's still, bro, when QE comes in, yeah, and the money printer starts,
yeah,
market's just gonna
say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, once QE is in, bro, the market's gonna go crazy. So it's just a matter of do you want to get in now and just hold, or do you want to get in and at the best time? And I reckon if you get in now and hold, that's perfectly fine. Ethereum's in the garbage. Ethereum's had the worst Q1 in history. Nah, bro, I looked at CoinGlass. Oh, it's right here. I looked at CoinGlass. So Ethereum monthly returns, yeah. February was the biggest loss in Ethereum value since its conception, bro. February was minus 31.95%. March so far, minus 10%. It's not even the worst March. There's been worse Marches. And January was minus 1%. So, bro, and December minus 9.75%.
But don't you see that as a problem? Because everyone's saying, oh, Ethereum needs to pump in order for alts to pump. So if Ethereum keeps doing this movement.
Nah, bro, I don't think Ethereum needs to pump anymore. Honestly, I'm under the conviction that Ethereum is going to be replaced as the number 2 token. And I don't want to say it's going to be Ripple, but it's going to be something.
Wow.
And
so you're saying XRP is going to overtake Ethereum?
No, he's not saying.
I've been saying. No. I've been saying XRP is the best token in the world since day dot. You might can go back and watch a couple episodes where I was like, XRP is going to go to $100 per token, man. And you see when that happens, yeah? Yeah. But now, honestly, I feel like something's in the flip ETH, man. I feel like ETH has lost its way. And yeah, there's all these institutional players that care about it. And there's all these companies that are using it. And someone came up
Trump's
with
buying ETH, bro.
Yeah, but Trump doesn't know what he's doing.
Wait. The Trump family business is buying ETH. He's not buying ETH. He's the president of the United States. Get that.
Buying ETH. Trump's buying ETH because World Liberty Fire is buying ETH. World Liberty Fire is buying ETH because it's closely related to Aave. We used to be ETH Lend, and basically they're just trying to make sure that they have enough funds on in their whole system to facilitate the scams that they want to promote. I don't know, but
I'm dead.
yeah, hold tight, Trump.
Allegedly.
buying ETH.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's not financial advice. Allegedly, none of this has been confirmed. I'm just stating what my opinions. Yeah, so I reckon the market right now is the softest it will be for the year, but I reckon hopefully we see that pick up in April, bro, because I'm looking through the map in April. There's been some big Aprils, bro. If we can go back to like 2018,
upside or downside? Wait, upside or downside? Upside, okay, cool.
Upside. April 2018, bro, plus 70%. Like if you get one of them Aprils,
wait, for ETH.
Yeah, that was for ETH. But that was
7%. That was long time,
70%,
bro.
April 2018, and that was ITO brief. So
yeah, ETH is too ETH is too valued high in terms of market cap for it to do since something move in 1 month. Not saying you can't do it in a year, but not saying you can't do it in a 3/4 time range, but you can. But trying to make it to you. So Rick, your goal short term, long term is to wait for the 72K range. That's when you start being aggressive in the market.
That's when I start trading. For investing, bro, I'm still the medium long term wallet is still Bitcoin 100% right now. Nothing else is as important as Bitcoin right now. Everything is falling off a cliff except
what area of levels interest in Bitcoin?
What for like? So what, like short term or
long term trade? Trade doesn't really matter because you can enter any range because you're gonna enter a trade, you're gonna close it. You know what I mean? And lock in your profit. For investing, that's what I'm more concerned about. When do you think will be the right time to start being aggressive?
Now, bro. Now, or you can wait until we get down to 71, 72 if it happens. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know about.
I feel like we hit our range low at 77, and I feel like me saying I want to get in at 71 is like me being optimistic. And yeah, obviously, I'm still feeling the burn from virtuals, about free play.
Bro, but listen, bro, virtuals is a lost cause, man. But no, I'm not saying 71K is possible, but I do think the 73 to 75K range is definitely possible because we've been there. We just came from there. 77K, 76K, you know what I mean? And there's nothing stopping us from retesting those ranges again. You know what I mean? Especially if we get, like, so far we're rejected by 87K range. You know what I mean? We would love to see it smash past 91K and see if we can build some momentum. You know what I mean? But we haven't seen that yet. But I want to talk more about this April gains you're talking about. I do think we're long overdue for a relief ban. Like, we're like, the market is riled with extreme fear. Altcoin indexes are all-time low. I'm not advocating for altcoins to start doing well. I'm not saying altcoin season because I've said it. No QE, no all season. It's just as simple as that. I'm not investing money I can use to buy eggs to buy coins. I'm just not doing.
Do you think there's a eggs? Do you think there's a possibility that we don't get a QE in this Donald Trump term?
Bro, we are screwed. What do you mean, fam? We need QE. Like, literally, the market needs QE, fam. Like, bro, we need QE. We are gonna get QE. Just how soon we're going to, that's what no one can speak about. But the fact that coming off yesterday's FOMC meeting, the fact that they're slowing down QT is a good sign to be like, cool, strap up your wallet, prepare your capital, and get ready to deploy because it's almost time. You know what I mean? If you're not already in, start scaling it. If you want to wait a bit more, at your own risk, but I will start scaling back in terms of, you know what I mean, the stronger asset like, you know, Bitcoin. I don't want to say Ethereum, but my God, Ethereum. So to a certain extent, are they the top coin? Like I'm bullish on Apple Liquid. Not so much as AI agents anymore because I feel like they were just afraid. Like they will pump come alt season, but at the same time, I don't know if Virtue is gonna go back to $5. Like it was close to it hitting $5 before. I don't know if it's gonna go back there again. So I'm sure like. We'll see. And you never know. But I think we need QE. Like they've been doing QT for the past almost 4 years. Like we need QE. Like, you know what I mean? It's like saying we're not gonna do QE. We're gonna hold interest like high. Meanwhile, unemployment rate is going up and up and up. That's recession. That's literally recession, and we don't want that. And the thing is, Trump will do whatever he can in his power to make sure that doesn't happen. If it means messing up the market with more tariff, it will keep doing it.
No, definitely. And just one note on the AI stuff that you're talking about. So yeah, I also don't think your virtuals and all that will go back up to the all-time highs. I think when and if we do get an altcoin season or let's say sector rotation as we've had like this market, I think new stuff will come into the market and that will pump aggressively. The old stuff might pump a little bit, but I think the new stuff is what you have to be doing. So in this time when things are quiet, I think this is the best time to do research, see what projects are on like about to launch or doing airdrops and all this other stuff. So now's the time to see who are building and get ahead of it.
100%. If you get positive news from the digital asset summit today, and we start building momentum up to the upside, let's say 88K, 98K, I can see us having a good month in April, and then we capitulate again in May. Because, you know what I mean? When the market thinks going to do this, and then it does the opposite. I just feel like everyone's gone short. Like everybody and the grandmother are short right now. And I think it's time for max spring for some of these guys. And it's happened to that whale already that did a 300 million short on Bitcoin, and then he got wrecked. You know what I mean? But some of these whales, when they do this kind of trades, they always kind of hedge it. Sometimes they do it in purposes to inflate numbers, get idiots to kind of come in with their late trade and then just wash them out by closing their trades and then ripping off the what's called the other edge. So we'll see. But April, I think that's a move we want to play. I think April could be a good month for crypto. Does it mean we're back? Bull market's back. We'll see what kind of pump we get, what kind of fundamentals we have, what kind of liquidity we have, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I wouldn't rule out a good month in April. I wouldn't rule it out.
So we're gonna do a quick fire. What do you think Trump could speak about at this conference that could pump the market? Give me your guesses.
0% intake. 0%.
Let it go. Let it go.
If Trump says 0% interest rate for all US crypto.
You mean CGT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, 0% capital gains tax on all crypto. Well, US crypto. Yeah, well, the market's gone, bro. All these American bills that are sitting,
bro.
Just gonna
he can't do that. He can't do that, bro. Trump made the decision to stop Trump. Wait, but no, I hear you. Yeah. He's the president. He's the one of the most powerful leaders in the world, bro. Trump tried to stop the financial aid that US provide for Ukraine because they pissed him off. The High Court they rejected that. They rejected the proposal, and then they said, "No, we're not gonna listen to you. We're not gonna allow war to just keep going." And one side again decimated. So like, as much power that he has to run it by his cabinet. He has to run it through the proper channel. You can't run 0% capital gains tax on some tokens. You just can't do that. You can't do that. And if it happens, man, I'll be bullish, but I just don't see it happening, especially when there's fear of inflation and recession. No way.
All right, that's my one.
What about you?
What can you say to make it bullish? So I think one thing, because like I said to you, I don't think 0% CGT is gonna happen. One thing I think could be bullish in the long term and short term as well is if he announces a fund, same way he had announced a Stargate fund to invest in AI and infrastructure. If he can announce a kind of fund that doesn't take money from the taxpayers and it's actually money from like maybe the money that it sees from criminal organization or like funds that had nothing to do with
to invest in crypto
fund.
companies.
Yes, yeah, not to invest in, to invest in Bitcoin stockpile, because we have the SPR now. So what we need is like what's in the digital stockpile right now are tokens that are Bitcoin tokens that are seized from illegal operations. We need, like, if Bitcoin is this alternative, like, strategic thing that people can invest in now, we need US to put the money where the mouth is. They say they believe it. Now put the money where, even if it's not your money, even if it's money that he sees from criminal organization, it's still being put to good use. So I would say if he's announced a kind of fund, like even if it's 100 million fund, 200 million, $500 million, it will go a long way showing cool. US is really in this game. They're really trying to push and lead, and that will put pressure on other states to, like, you know what, cool. China said we're not gonna wait. Was it China or there was one Fed that said, I think it was the Hong Kong Federal Bank that said they don't believe they're gonna use Bitcoin as a strategic reserve because they just started like volatility and that kind of stuff. So they're gonna do that. But if US becomes more and more the face of SBR and the leading nation that's trying to build a stockpile around Bitcoin, then that'll put more pressure on other states to do the same. So I need to see some kind of announcement of funds of new purchase of Bitcoin. I don't care where the money comes from, whether it's taxpayer money or non-taxpayer money. I don't care. You know what I mean? As long as you're buying XRP with it. You know what I mean? If you're buying Bitcoin with that money, I think that's a huge bullish news.
Yeah. I think for me, if he came out and said the US government is now going to start mining Bitcoin, I think that could be really, really interesting. Yeah, I think especially if they committed to like building out infrastructure and this, that, and the other, and say, look, we're gonna mine Bitcoin. Go on.
Do you know why I'm like, I feel like if you're mining Bitcoin at this stage, like we almost what's the current circular supply? I feel like it's just a little bit too late. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Mining gets difficult. Like it gets
True,
more
the difficulty
difficult.
is hard.
And,
True.
and energy cost is not cheap. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Right now, energy cost is not cheap. So
Yeah,
how are you gonna
that's
do
true.
that without? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's gonna be, I mean, bullshit. You could just say it as a way to kind of build momentum. Like we're looking into mining Bitcoin. You doesn't have to say we're gonna do it. You could just say we're looking to mine cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? Bitcoin at the top of the list. So he doesn't have to.
I know
Somebody
he's
just
interested
creating
in
more
nuclear
buzz.
power, so you know he could do the nuclear power thing and just say, boom, we're gonna start mining Bitcoin. But I hear what you're saying in terms of difficulty. In terms of actually getting the Bitcoin into, you know, the strategic reserve and all that, that's a separate discussion. But I think the signal that would send to the market would be quite a positive one. And yeah, and it would make things interesting for sure. On that note, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.